Consider this more of a proposal than a dissection of an album. I am an enormous fan of, I know a lot of people are at this point, The Cold Vein by Cannibal Ox, this 2001 absolute masterpiece of recorded music. I think everyone who hears The Cold Vein comes to adore it thoroughly. And then they come to hear of 2015's Blade of the Ronin, and they go to rate your music. Oh wow, not many things have a rating below 3, that must be pretty terrible. Actually listen to Blade of the Ronin. Wow. There's a few spots where if we really wanted to hate the album, we could, based upon a few clumsy verses or references, some lines here and there may be a bit cringeworthy, frankly. Maybe 3 or 4 instances where I was a bit distracted by, I was like, oh gee, that's not as creative. No moments in The Cold Vein made me feel that way. But let's look past this stuff. Blade of the Ronin. If Blade of the Ronin just randomly dropped and it was someone's debut, we would think, gee, these guys are trying to be Cannibal Ox so much, and we'd dismiss it. We'd be like, I wish this was the second Cannibal Ox album. Well, it is the second Cannibal Ox album, and how do we feel about it as a result? Let's just take it for what it is. I think this is an absolutely fantastic release. This is an extraordinarily enjoyable treat, start to finish, and if it's not as re-listenable quite as The Cold Vein, I would... Well, here's the thing. I didn't go back to Cold Vein all that much. I mean, I listened to Cold Vein maybe 4 times since knowing it over the course of maybe 3 to 4 years. And it's an album you come back to maybe every year, but it's not as though... Blade of the Ronin, I see no reason why I couldn't accommodate Blade of the Ronin in this also, frankly. It's the thing. I also had the tendency to just go back to certain tracks on The Cold Vein, whereas... with Blade of the... because I knew I would enjoy those the most. That's what I'd be looking forward to the most. I'd just be thinking about those songs the most. With Blade of the Ronin, maybe if nothing stands out in particular, I'll just listen to the whole thing, rather. Maybe more often than The Cold Vein. Perhaps. Some of you may not know about Cannibal Ox. I don't know how many people here are particularly versed in the hip-hop music genre, because I am not really very much, as it were. There's a few things I've become very fond of over the last few years of my life. Let's read out the wiki article on Cannibal Ox, and with measured pace, hopefully. Cannibal Ox is an American hip-hop duo from Harlem, New York, United States. It consists of Vast Air and Virgil Mega, often accompanied by DJ Clip One. In 2001, Cannibal Ox released their first album, The Cold Vein, on Definitive Jux, which is the label's first full-length studio album. The Cold Vein received positive reviews from critics and put the duo in the underground hip-hop spotlight, and has since been described as one of the best rap albums of the 2000s. In 2003, the group was rumoured to have disbanded. However, fellow Definitive Jux rapper Murs said, Can Ox is not broken up, it's just a rumour, between tracks on fellow Definitive Jux rapper Aesop Rock's album Bazooka Tooth. November 2005 brought the release of the live album Return of the Ox live at CMJ, with a statement in the liner notes hinting at a Cannibal Ox live LP to be released summer of 2006. Supposedly, RZA, Pete Rock, and EL-P were set to contribute. However, the alleged album was never released. It's important to mention EL-P, Jamie Moline. He was the producer on The Cold Vein, and he was not the producer on Blade of the Ronin. ELP's contributions to The Cold Vein probably can't be overstated. The guy's a genius, clearly, and yeah, it's hard to imagine the same sort of magic being captured without him. The credited producers on Blade of the Ronin were rather Bill Cosmiq and Black Milk, also known as Curtis Eugene Cross. The production's awesome, I think, although it's less... Well, one, I mean, The Cold Vein, I mean, the fact that album came out in... I've played The Cold Vein for people, and they're surprised it came out in 2001. They think it came out in the late 2000s or early 2010s or something. It sounds so fresh and pristine and very hi-fi. Blade of the Ronin certainly sounds like it could have come out in 2015. And it sounds great for 2015. It's still... Stuff that sounded great in 2015 still can sound pretty great now. But we're still at that point of the present, where 2015 still sounds pretty good sonically. So Blade of the Ronin for now still sounds awesome. Hopefully it holds up for as The Cold Vein did in the subsequent years and decades. But anyway, let's continue. In March 2007, EL-P answered, "I really doubt it," when asked if a new Cannibal Ox album was coming out anytime in the near future. That same year, Vastair confirmed that he was no longer working with Definitive Jux, that he left the Weathermen, that's a hip-hop group, production group, not the domestic terrorist group, and that plans for a new Cannibal Ox LP were scrapped. He cited creative and financial differences with EL-P and Definitive Jux, as well as Vorjal's alleged clinical depression. Oh, that's really sad, actually. In January 2008, Vastair plugged a project entitled Mighty Joseph with rapper Carnegie and spoke about future projects in the works. When asked about his relationship with Vorjal, he confirmed Vorjal as a feature on his upcoming solo LP Deuces Wild. Vastair was later featured on Vorjal's album Megraffiti. After many requests for him to produce a second Can Ox album, EL-P stated on May 28, 2011 via his Facebook page that there won't ever be a Can Ox album produced by me again, and that's a fact. On May 31st, 2011, Vastair released a solo record titled Ox 2010, A Street Odyssey. Vorjal is featured in the song Thor's Hammer. Vastair revealed, "We never broke up, but the timing is now right for a new Cannibal Ox LP. Iron Galaxy Records is about to take over." He also confirmed that he and Vorjal Mega are in the studio now working on the album. On April 16, 2013, Cannibal Ox's EP Gotham went on sale. The 3-track album contains new songs produced by Bill Cosmiq. Gotham, Arc City, Gases in Hell, Inhale, Psalm 82. Their second album, Blade of the Ronin, was released on March 3, 2015 under iHip-Hop distribution to favourable reviews. Bill Cosmiq produced the majority of the album. There we are. There's no reason to review The Cold Vein because everyone already knows what a masterpiece it is. I feel like there'd be totally no reason to. For some reason I felt like there's many acclaimed albums I feel like I have nothing else to say about. I'm not going to jump to, I've never done a Sgt. Pepper's, I've never done I did Dark Side of the Moon partly because it was that iconic, and it's like, well, have people overstated it? But, I'm not going to go tackle Wish You Were Here necessarily, frankly. I did Zeppelin 4 just because I felt like, there was more to say here. Like, can you dissect something like that where it is so revered and adulated? And I had listened to quite a number of times, and it had been with me and people from older generations that I knew and my generation that I knew for so long. Whereas, The Cold Vein's one of those albums where most of the people who appreciate it that are not in the real world, they're online. I suppose I'm making this recording here, to announce that I am totally on board with Cannibal Ox's 2015 Blade of the Ronin album. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I might go so far as to say there's maybe 3 or 4 spots of a weak verse, weak rhyme, or some analogy or reference that's kind of makes you cringe a little bit. Other than that, the rest of the record is glorious, and the fact that the second Cannibal Ox album, years after the fact, over 10 years after the release of the first one, is as quality as Blade of the Ronin is astonishing to me. It really is. Anyone who thinks that this was a travesty, anyone who went out of their way to contribute to this album's lower score and rate your music, do comment here and let me know. Likely as not, you'll just be like, "Oh, what an idiot, I'm above it, I don't have to tell you why. I'm gonna go talk about what an idiot you are elsewhere." You're a coward and you're not correct. Like, your opinion is wrong because you weren't able to argue it here. I'm officially right. For now. Until you're able to tell me that I'm wrong. It's simple as that. It's as simple as that. Laughing about how right you are elsewhere without telling the person that you think is wrong just proves that, yeah, you're wrong. I don't make the rules. That is what it is. It is. I know there's a million cases. Oh, I don't have to tell flat earthers that they're wrong to laugh at flat earth. Yeah, this is, in this case, it's about Blade of the Ronin, about, cases of musical elitism, which is just the silliest thing to be an elitist over is probably music. It's because half the reason you like that crap is because no one else knows about it. I know it's not crap. Nurse of Wound is kind of crap. It's not, but, it may as well be just because you guys think it's the best thing ever, but it's just industrial nonsense. Genesis PR is better than Steve Stapleton. I know the narrative that, the first album was great and the second album sucked. It's really kind of, it's a sexy narrative. We can put something down and makes it just feel better. It's almost preferable to both albums being good. It's this idea that we can love one and then tarnish the other. It's like we can pat ourselves on the back it's like, we wouldn't make an album that bad. It's just like, ho, 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 ho. It's like, no, you wouldn't compose a single song, period. Because you're a fucking hack. anyone who actually has gone out of their way to put music to, I was going to say to tape, to record, you know, just anyone who's ever tried to, you know, compose some artistry throughout their life, I find it hard to believe that they will have nothing nice to say about Cannibal Blade of the Ronin. Of that I'm sure. I'm very sure.